Let's go to the telephone now, and on the phone is Congressman Walter Jones, who, Congressman, I don't know what to say except congratulations. This was probably the political battle of your life, was it not?
Well, there's no question about it, Henry, and good morning to you and the listeners, and thank you, Pitt County, for the outstanding vote, and we needed it. Henry, this is the new campaigns of the future. Big money coming in from well-to-do people who want to control Congress and pick them candidates, and it's a sad day, not for me personally, but for the system of campaigning. It's all about money and half-truths and distortions, and that's sad, but I'm grateful to the people of the 3rd District. I'm in the car waiting to head back to Washington. We mark up the Armed Services Bill today, but I am most grateful and humbled by the vote.
You know, Walter, I got to tell you, Tom Lamprecht and I were on the air till 9:30 doing election returns, and the Craven County returns had come in, but the Pitt County returns had not. Now, those are, I guess, the 2 largest counties in your district. I know you also have part of Onslow County, but only part. I think you got.
No, we have all of Onslow.
Oh, you do?
All of Carteret. Yeah, we have the entirety.
Okay, but the two big, the ones we were really kind of watching were Pitt and Craven had come in. Pitt had not come in when we got off the air, and Taylor Griffin carried Craven County, and so we were waiting for the Pitt returns to come in. When they finally came in, it put you over the top. But there were some moments last night where I thought this thing may go the other way. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, I did. And we were just as frustrated as you and others throughout the state with the failure of the State Board of Elections of not having an efficient way to inform the people of North Carolina of how the vote totals were going. It was a failure. And somebody needs to look into that, not because of the race in the 3rd District, but I mean across the state.
I have not had it.
I can honestly tell you that, that when I have to go to Clear Politics to find out the accurate numbers, and they're in Washington, D.C., and here we are in Raleigh, North Carolina, can't figure out what's happening. That's pretty sad.
Well, how in the world did they get them before the Board of Elections got them? That's kind of weird. But
well, I'm going to try to find out today because they're very efficient, obviously.
Yeah, we thought the thing would be over by 9:30 and we'd have all the numbers, and clearly all the numbers had been reported before 9:30, but there was some snafu in Raleigh with the State Board of Elections system and some of the counties, particularly Pitt County. We never got any Pitt County numbers. We finally, Dave Davis and his folks who do a great job with the Pitt County Board of Elections started sending them to us on PDF files last night. That's how we were able to get the Pitt County numbers. Well,
I was anxious too because Pitt's my home county. I love this county. I've been born here. I would be buried here, and we were waiting too. We were calling our friends, and nobody seemed to be able to find it. So anyway, when they came in, it was huge.
The smoke is clearing this morning. We don't know all the answers to everything, but you know, I've had I mentioned this earlier. I believe there was a little bit of a backlash effect on all the negative advertising. We should mention that, you know, the 2 big groups that came in and spent money against you were the Ending Spending Action Fund and the Emergency Committee for Israel. Those are not part of Taylor Griffin's campaign, but they ran ads against you, and the 527 campaign laws say that Griffin can have no part of that. I know from talking to some of Taylor Griffin's people, they were actually concerned about a backlash on that. But there, you know, we don't have all the numbers, but it looks like upwards of $1.2 million to $1.3 million was spent to beat you, Walter. Can you shed light on what these outside groups have against you?
Well, a couple things very quickly, Henry. First of all, if you look at the background of the 2 groups you mentioned, you will find out that they spent millions of dollars to kill the marriage amendment in California. I am a social conservative. I am proud to say that I believe in the sanctity of life, and I believe that marriage is between one man and one woman. In addition to their difference on the social issues than mine, because I am a conservative, they're not. Obviously, I just explained that. It is the fact that I am independent. I am proud to be a Republican, but my conscience has to help me vote, because there are too many times that the people that I represent, I have different bills to look at. I have different factors within those bills that I have to judge whether the people of the district would want me to vote this way or that way. But when it comes down to the end of it, I have to make the decision solely.
It's interesting that you say the Ending Spending Action Fund has been a big proponent of killing the marriage amendment. This guy Joe Ricketts, who is the founder of TD Ameritrade, was really the impetus behind that Ending Spending Action Fund. You know, if that's the case, it's interesting that your campaign did not reveal that during the campaign. Did you worry that revealing that kind of information would backlash on you?
Henry, I think I'm right, and I stand to be correct. I think we spent about $125,000 to $130,000 on our advertising. They spent over $1 million. There was no way we could do everything that we wanted to do to inform the voters of the truth. So there's no way you can compete. This is why I said last night in an interview that two of the worst decisions I've seen by the United States Supreme Court, Roe v. Wade, because I am a pro-life Catholic. Secondly, Citizens United. It has opened a floodgate of rich millionaires and billionaires deciding that they want to control Congress. And another thing about Ricks, I did not vote for the bailout of Wall Street, and they make their money in that kind of world, and I don't fit in of trying to see we, the taxpayers like me and you, having to bail out those in Wall Street so they can get on their yacht and fly their corporate jets around the world.
You referred to him as Rick. Do you know this guy? Did you say Rick? Or you said Rich?
No, Joe Ricks. I think you said his name.
Joe Ricks. Yeah, I think it's Joe Ricketts. Yeah, Joe Ricketts.
I'm sorry. I don't. Obviously, I don't know his name.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not acquainted. That's why I was wondering. You know, the other group. Speak to the question of the Jewish community. I actually had some friends from the Jewish community say to me, why is this emergency committee for Israel spending money to bash Walter Jones? And you know, my response to that was, I think it's a connect the dots kind of thing where, you know, they're connecting the dots that you're not voting for foreign aid to Israel because you just never vote for the budget. Am I accurate in that, or is there more to it than that?
No, you're accurate. There was also one vote they used in the ad, and two that I can explain very quickly. We had a vote in 2011 in the House that says we should issue sanctions against Iran. I voted for it. It goes over to the Senate, and after a few months, the Senate adds sanctions against Syria. So you have a bill coming back from the Senate with sanctions against Syria and Iran. I did not believe that the time was right to put sanctions on Syria because it would empower Al-Qaeda who brought down the towers. So when it came back from the Senate, I voted no. The only other vote they made reference to was a vote I voted present on because I've done it maybe 4 or 5 times in 20 years. I had not read the bill. And my staffer, who was supposed to help me with understanding the bill, had been sick. So I go to the floor not even knowing what the bill did. It was a small bill, 10, 12 pages, but it deals with international relations. And I just decided the best thing for me to do to represent the people of East North Carolina was to vote no.
So again, you voted present. So again, there was a lot of connecting the dots with some of these campaigns that, you know, if people, but you know, I think it worked to a large degree, but I do believe that there was some backlash on it. I know this particular person that is a close friend of mine who's a Jewish person said, you know, I don't believe that. I love Walter Jones. I just think that they're conjuring up stuff and using it to campaign negatively, and I don't believe it. So I think there were a lot of people that did not believe a lot of it. You know, you'll appreciate this. A close friend of yours and mine, when I woke up this morning, I actually went to bed last night thinking you were probably going to lose. And that was before the Pitt County numbers came in. And then I woke up this morning, and the first thing I saw was a email from a friend of yours and mine who is a prominent judge who will go nameless here because he'll kill me if I call his name. But he said to me in an email, he said, obviously $1.3 million is not enough to take Walter out.
Well, that's very gracious. And Henry, very quickly, Steve Cohen is a Democrat and a Jewish American, and he saw me last week, and he said, I am offended by what's happening to you. If you think a letter from me to the people of the 3rd District saying that you are supportive of Israel, and I know that because I serve with you, and I'm Jewish. I said, Steve, if you'd offered that 3 weeks ago, I would have accepted it, but it's too late now.
Walter, you've been there 20 years. There's been a lot of discussion over the years about term limits and the fact that you went in with the Newt Gingrich group, the contract with America and all that. But you've changed your view a little bit on the term limits thing. But, it's interesting. The Taylor Griffin camp didn't really use that much. I thought that they would use that as much as anything else against you. Talk about that a little bit, where you are now and why you feel like people should continue to send you back.
Well, Henry, whether you like the system of seniority or not, that's another debate. But that's the system. And it's just like when I go back today, I'll be leaving shortly, we're marking up the Armed Services Bill. Will be, if I'm elected in November, I will be number 2 at the very top of the Armed Services Committee, which is about 60 members, Democrat and Republican. And I will be number 2 on the Republican side. I will sit right beside the chairman, the incoming chairman, will be Mac Thornberry from Texas. And who's going to be sitting to his right? Walter Jones. Why? Well, what does that mean to Eastern North Carolina? In 2015, Secretary of Defense Hagel has already said we're going to have to make major decisions and we're going to have to reorganize the military. Well, how about the bases in Eastern North Carolina? Don't they mean something to the economy of North Carolina and especially Eastern North Carolina? Absolutely. If I was a freshman, I would not be at the table to discuss the future of the military and the bases in Eastern North Carolina. I would be sitting down at the bottom of 60 people. It does matter, and I saw it. I wish it wasn't the system, but it is a system, and you have to live within the system until it changes, and it will not change.
How much longer you want to keep doing this?
Well, I want it till I get through November. I think I'm going to just keep looking forward because, quite frankly, I'm not taking anything for granted. This was an example of frustration. It wasn't all the fact I've been there 20 years. It's just Washington is dysfunctional, and the people are tired of seeing Congress not get anything done that's worthwhile for the people of Eastern North Carolina as well as America.
Walter, last question for you, and I'll let you go. I know you need to get on the road back to D.C. this morning. As you look back on this campaign, this, I think, by far was your toughest. I know that you've had some campaigns in the past that have, some general campaigns. I know you had a challenge from a Democrat years ago that was pretty well funded. But you've never seen anything like this, and no one ever come after you like this, especially, as you mentioned, with the new outside finance laws and money that can come in from other parts of the country. Did this take something out of you this time?
No, what it does is make me want to fight, and if I should win in November, I've already talked to Republicans and Democrats. This is happening all over the country. This was just the first example in Eastern North Carolina, but this has started 2 years ago across the nation, and good people, Republicans and Democrats have lost because of the money issue that we were faced with. I just thank God and the people of Eastern North Carolina that we were able to say we could only spend $125,000 on our ass. You spent over $1 million, and we won. I thank the people who did not buy into the lies and the distortions.
Yeah. Walter Jones, Congressman, great talking to you. Congratulations. Be safe today, traveling back to D.C., and keep on fighting a good fight.